This is Born Strategist, and welcome to the videogames.co.uk. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about the Gears of War 4 multiplayer beta. Now, for those of you that missed out on the beta, don't worry, you'll get your opportunity to play it on October 11th when it ships. But until then, you're probably going, well, what did I miss? Well, if you missed the multiplayer beta, then you missed out an opportunity to go ahead and try out Gears of War for free and to determine whether or not you actually like it or if you dislike it. And I'll be the first one to say that I thoroughly enjoyed the beta while I played it. Now, it's not to say that there wasn't a few issues here and there, and trust me, I'll be covering those issues in just a moment. But it was still a fine-tuned, polished experience as long as it was consistent. Now, when I talk about consistency, I'm talking about in terms of frame rate, and I'm talking about in terms of lag or latency. Now, let's get into that because when I played the multiplayer beta, the one thing I did encounter rather often was the fact that it was a little choppy in terms of its frame rate and it had a little bit of lag. Now, they obviously weren't using dedicated servers, at least some of the time anyway, and as a result, sometimes you get paired up with a host that would indeed have a crappy connection. And as a result, you would have to suffer the resulting issues. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing because it is just a beta. And for those of you that don't know, Coalition is going to go ahead and give Gears of War 4 dedicated servers. And just like Gears of War Past, that if you wish to maintain your access to those dedicated servers, then you would support the game and buy the Collector's Edition so you can gain access to the new maps, as well as any new modes, and the dedicated servers, which is great if you're a hardcore multiplayer fan. Okay. Now, aside from that, the beta itself was a great experience as long as it was consistent and you didn't have to endure a choppy frame rate or a crappy connection. Now, as I said before, it was just a beta, so don't worry. When the game comes out, I'm sure Coalition will have all those issues resolved and you should get a fine-tuned, polished product. And that's what I'm hoping for because I did play the Ultimate Edition, and when I played the Ultimate Edition, it was excellent. It was clear, it was crisp. They had dedicated servers, and I had no issues. Now, you're probably going, well, what's the big deal about dedicated servers? Well, if you're on a dedicated server, then you don't have to worry about all the latency and lag issues that you probably encounter from being on somebody else's host, like you would in games like Call of Duty or Destiny. And as a result, you're going to have a better experience and have a more enjoyable one simply because when you shoot a target, you know your bullets are going to hit that damn target. Now, aside from the frame rate issues and the lag that you would commonly encounter over the course of the beta, you did have a fine-tuned, polished product that is just waiting to emerge at the time of release. Now, aside from the frame rate issues and the lag issues, there's obviously some positive things to say about the Gears of War 4 beta. Now, the multiplayer was solid as long as you had a consistent game. Aside from that, you also had the hardcore AI TDM game mode, which essentially was you and a bunch of random players in the community going up against AI controlled enemies that were taking the role of the swarm. And that was a very enjoyable mode, especially since they were on hardcore difficulty setting, meaning that they could actually give you a run for your money if you didn't approach them in just the right way, or if you're an inexperienced player, or just not paired up with a group of people that are actually played together before. Simply put, if you're going in there with a group of individuals that have been playing together for years and are very experienced and are very team oriented, then guess what? They're probably going to slaughter the hardcore bots without any problem whatsoever. Not to say they can't creep up on you and get you by surprise, because they certainly can. But it's a great mode for you to hone your skills and practice if you are an inexperienced player. Now, aside from that, there are some other things that we could look forward to when the actual game releases come October 11th. But the one thing that I'm actually interested to hear more of is the campaign as well as its horde mode, because it seems like this Gears of War game is going back to its roots and that it's going to be putting a little bit more emphasis on a darker tone, meaning it's going to be a little bit more survival horror-ish, kind of like the initial Gears of War game was. It was very creepy, it was very dark, especially like with the krill and all these different creatures that you have to encounter in the world, such as berserkers. So I'm looking forward to that, and I hope that it's going to be able to rival, at the very least, rival what the initial Gears of War game did. But obviously, since this is the fourth game in the series, we want to go ahead and see, it improve upon what has come before. But whether or not it will remains to be seen. With that said, what's your thoughts? What's your opinions? Are you looking forward to Gears of War 4, or are you not looking forward to Gears of War 4? let us know below. Until next time, stay tuned to www.thevideogames.co.uk. And for those of you that are interested and wish to check out my own personal channel, then feel free to go to youtube.com/pornstrategist.